Greetings, comrade captains. Sea Raptor here, bringing you a World of Warships replay from WoWreplays.com. This time we have MrDeaf in his Admiral Hipper, and I saw this one and I wanted to give it a go. I really like the German cruiser line. I'm a huge fan of these ships as a whole, and I really wanted to take the time to download this one and give try my hand at some commentary. We're on the map north here, starting on the northern side. Have a look at the teams. Team's pretty balanced on this one. Matchmaker did not completely smoke the dope before this one. The enemy team has a Tier 8 battleship. We do not, but beyond that, it's not too shabby. 4 battleships, 4 cruisers, 4 destroyers on a side. So the Hipper has a lot of tools to bring to a match like this. She's going to have her AP rounds, of course. That's the German specialty. We can see down along the bottom that MrDeaf has chosen to equip hydroacoustic sonar rather than defensive fire. That'll pay off. No carriers in this match. Catapult fighter won't do him much good, but that's okay. I personally am not a huge fan of spotter planes. I equip catapult fighters wherever possible. I have a devil of a time hitting anything when those spotter planes are active. Enemy North Carolina pops up at long range. Gonna hold fire here. Probably the right call. I mean, the angle on that ship with your AP... Well, no, okay. He's gonna take a shot. And that's not terrible. Got some HE loaded there. Switching to AP now for that Cleveland at close range.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
Nice. Got a fire on the NorCal. People underrate German HE at this tier. Oh, anything at tier 8 and above. You know, when you go and you play the German cruiser line, you play Königsberg, you play Nuremberg. The German 6-inch HE, frankly, is terrible. And, you kind of get in a bad habit of not using the HE. By the time you get to Hipper, Rune, and especially Hindenburg, your HE is not awful. And it's worth firing when the situation calls for it. Speaking of Nuremberg, shots out. It's a decent shot. He's got a nice broadside view on that Nuremberg. Let's see if he can land some. I'm going to be just ahead of him. Oh! Forward Citadel on the magazine. Very nice. York's also giving him a nice profile. Shots out there. This is one of the things that I really like to see in heads-up cruiser play, particularly in the German line, is target selection. Another big Citadel. Well done. Because so many times you see people in the game, they get fixated on one target. And what I find with the German cruiser line is it's almost more about, all right, what ammo do I have loaded, and who's showing me the best shot I can get right now? Because if you've got AP loaded, obviously you don't want to be shooting at someone who's going to bounce all those rounds. So you know your shots are going to go. You're going to change targets constantly, almost. Or it's going to feel that way. New York's giving him broadside. 16 kilometers, this is going to be hard to get decent damage out of, even against a battleship. If he was probably about 15 in, wouldn't be bad. Hello. Weather is about to get a lot worse. So this is an interesting new mechanic they've introduced on North in patch 0.5.5, where a Cyclone will move in. You get the announcement, like you just saw, and you have about 90 seconds before everyone's visibility gets cut to 8 clicks. So this long-range duel we've been having with these enemy ships at 15 kilometers is about to come to a screeching halt because no one is going to be able to see anybody at that range. Nuremberg looks like he's stopped. No, just turn his engines back on. It's good to see him focusing on him, though, because, I mean, this is easily a great shot. This Nuremberg driver is just not really cognizant of the danger he's in, it would seem, at this range from this Hipper. You can see the rain moving in, the weather's starting to get worse. Visibility is still what it was, but it's about to get a lot worse. Last second pot shot over the island at the Nuremberg. And see where we go. Now, if you look at the map, most of the enemy team has concentrated along the G line between B and C. Ooh, nice hit on the Nuremberg. Our team has capped A and D. Their team has capped C, and B so far has gone completely uncaptured. Very few casualties on both sides. We've cost them a Hatsuharu. Our Atlanta and Fubuki have gone to the bottom. So it's a pretty close game. I mean, you know, we control more points. They've killed more ships. 30-point difference here. And as the weather moves in, visibility starts to get worse. Another good citadel on the York. It looks like MrDeaf is electing to push into B and start capping himself. Now, there we go. We've hit the hard cap now. The Cyclone is active. Visibility, no one will see us past 8 kilometers. Doesn't matter what their teammates see. When their teammates see you, you appear as the outline of your ship, right? You don't actually, they can't shoot at you. You have to be within 8 clicks to actually see them. And I'm lying a little bit. They can shoot at you, but you won't render on their screen. We've got a Fubuki running away from B, and I think this guy is about to die gloriously for his team. Got the HE loaded, and there we go, kill number 1. Excellent time to switch to HE there. German HE is perfectly serviceable against enemy destroyers and battleships, especially when you're trying to knock out modules or get fires going. Definitely the right call there. So we've capped B now. We're way up on the enemy team in terms of cap points. And most of them, the last time we saw them, were kind of in that area there. G6 there, where one of our teammates has clicked on the map. And we're making some big kills in other parts of the map. The Mahan gets a kill. The Miyoko gets a kill. Miyoko ends up dying for it. We're one ship up. We've got a 3-cap lead, and we're capping C. Now, if I'm reading the mini-map right, the Mahan was timid to cap C, and the North Carolina just wasted him. So now it's 8v8. We've got about a 150-point lead here. As Cleveland ahead of us is pushing south, we can see there's a battleship off his port side they're trading shots at, but of course in the Cyclone he won't render. There we go. It is the enemy New York. AP loaded and shots out on his bow. Now this is probably a bit of a small mistake. This is a small criticism here. He had the AP loaded, no sense in firing it. I mean, no reason not to fire it. But after his subsequent shots at this angle really should have been HE. I mean, you can see he's getting one overpin and a bunch of bounces when he's actually getting hits at all against a Tier 5 battleship. If he had a broadside on this battleship, AP is absolutely the right call. He'd be wrecking. But he really should be firing HE from this angle. As the New York starts to turn, he leaves the AP loaded. But look at that. 6 hits, 0 damage on that guy's belt armor up near the bow. His teammates finish off the New York, so that's the end of that, but he could have contributed a little more there if he'd had some HE load. Our friend the Nuremberg is back, all by himself, giving us a beautiful broadside as he heads back to the west. It will probably be the last thing he does in this game. So as you can see, the Cyclone here, what it's done for MrDeaf's team is it's allowed them to almost isolate the enemy team one by one. We've got 3 battleships now pushing down through B. One of their battleships has already fed himself to us, so has the Nuremberg, and now here comes the Fuso, probably about to perform the exact same trick. The Hipper really excels at these kinds of ranges. Your AP is able to penetrate things. You've got 6-kilometer torpedoes, and this is just a fantastic ship to be driving in these kinds of situations, regardless of what the enemy has. If it's a destroyer or battleship, it doesn't really matter. You're able to punish them in some fashion. Fuso's under 10,000 now. He's got a Congo at close range. He's repairing. So the question is the Congo going to get him? Nope, Colorado's going to get him. Speaking of Colorado, enemy Colorado has popped up ahead. Looks like he's sitting still. AP loaded. Shots right at his belt. Probably not going to do much here. All right, looks like we had one overpin and one regular pin. That's not terrible. Really should be putting these shots a little higher up. Yep, some regular pins and some overpins there. At this range, you're probably still not going to pin this guy's belt armor. You really need to be firing these at the superstructure, the casemate armor. The waterline is not where you want to be putting these shots. A little higher up, and he'd probably be doing 6, 7, 8K salvos against this Colorado, especially with his AP. German AP on broadside battleships is just as punishing as it is to cruisers. You just don't get big citadels out of it. See that? 5 hits, 1,600 damage. So that tells you that some of those are just, armor's just eating them up.
All stations requesting fire.
Disabled one of his guns temporarily. That was a little better. 3K salvo there. Colorado's running. He realizes that, the Hipper's torpedoes and this Congo at close range, it's not going to end well for him. He's trying to retreat to B, where he's got a friendly destroyer coming out to help him. I'm sorry, retreat into C. Def's got his guns around. Is he going to go for the destroyer or the Colorado? The destroyer? Yes, that's the right call. If you're driving a cruiser and you can see a destroyer and you're not shooting at it, you are doing it wrong. Go ahead and blow his torpedoes, trying to get this Mutsuki. Between the Mutsuki and the Colorado, they've finished off that Congo in front of us. His Hydro has just come off of cooldown. He pops it, and this Mutsuki is basically dead to rights now. He's got the HE loaded. One more salvo will knock him out if his secondaries don't get there first. And his secondaries do get there first. A close quarters expert. Very nice. German cruiser secondaries will periodically surprise you. I've gotten destroyer kills in Rune, Hindenburg, and Hipper, so you'll pick up the occasional close quarters achievement. It's actually really entertaining. The Colorado's trying to retreat and get out of here. He's trying to pull back around the island and get some cover. If you look at the minimap, you can see the last surviving enemy battleship is now pushing straight south into B. That's the North Carolina. He's up here against our low-health Colorado. Now, we can't see what the state of this North Carolina is. We just know he's there. You can see him on the minimap. But because of the Cyclone, he's not going to render. So we have no idea what his health is. It'll take us a second just to get him in range, and we'll see. Colorado looks like he's reversing, so he's probably in a bad spot. He's probably not going to be around very much longer. There we are, inside of 8 kilometers. There's the enemy NorCal. And the NorCal, of course, finishes off the Colorado. And again, we've got AP loaded. You look at the angle on that NorCal, that's probably not the time to be firing AP at him. We do bounce a couple of shots and get him to reset his cap points. That's handy. I like this play here. We put torpedoes up the side where we're not sure he's going to turn. So we kind of put those over there as like, it's a hedge bet. We don't know what he's going to do, but we throw him over there anyway. Now he's finally switching to HE after getting another reset. Slowing down a bit here. Just a smidge to make the turn. Oh, that's going to hurt. Big Citadel, at least one through the nose. The German armor schemes are very good, but, you're still going to get smacked around by shells from a battleship at this range. If they decide to hit you, doesn't really matter where. Port side torpedoes going out. This should be the end of this North Carolina. I don't see him getting away from this at all. Looks like he's going to slow down a bit, but it ain't going to matter. We get Confederate high caliber and a devastating strike all at the same time. Oh, hello. Otago, starboard side. Switching back to AP. Last bank of torpedoes away, just why not? No reason not to. We're going to scrape over the wreck of the North Carolina and lose a little bit of speed there, but this Otago is giving us a beautiful broadside view. Look at this. It's got the HE loaded, but we only have to ding him a little bit to kill him at this stage. And there we go. And that's game. So a really good game there for MrDeaf. We end up with a little over 400,000 credits, 4 kills, plenty of good XP, Confederate, close quarters expert. I always love seeing that on cruisers. Devastating strike and a high caliber. Top XP on the team by pretty good base XP there, 2,800. About 67,000 damage out of the AP. 5 torpedo hits and a little bit of HE. Probably could have gotten a little more out of the HE, but it is what it is. And an excellent game overall. Very, 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 very good game showing the strength of the German cruisers and the German cruiser line in general. So thanks to MrDeaf for posting that, and I'll keep my eye out. I'm a huge fan of the German cruiser line. I'm hoping to make some videos and really expand people's awareness and knowledge and appreciation for those ships. And I'll keep my eyes open and see if there's any more videos, any more replays like this that I can dig up and share with you guys to kind of highlight that. See you next time.